Eliyahu, I want to thank you because this meeting would not be possible if it weren't for your mentorship in both my life and in Blake's life.
Thank you. Can I touch? Is it okay?
Yes, of course. So thank you. This is a remarkable moment.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
And you actually opened the door to the reconnection and reconversation on a random sporadic text message.
Yes.
This is all his doing.
Yeah.
I had to do it. I mean,
That was the first time. We're like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Well, yeah, the first, we did a Zoom a couple of years back.
Yep.
And it was just like Blake and Ryan saying hello again.
Yeah.
And then you and I had a hike that he helped arrange, if not directly, indirectly in prayer and everything else.
It's important. You know, I believe that two of you are so powerful. And when two of you come together, this is something that it's just so powerful, so incredible. And I know, like, if we don't want to talk too much about the past, but whatever you went through in your past and whatever left over of the past, you know, you did something incredible together that affecting a lot of people. So if that's in you, then it's still in you. Nobody can take that away from you. Nobody can take that away from you. You're born with that. You're born with the gift. God gave you that gift. And when you believe in God, you start to believe that that gift is still there. All what I got to do is just to connect that wire with this wire, put it together, whoop, there is light. You know, and I think that's what you guys did. I mean, I didn't do a lot. I just say, here's the phone, here's the text, here, let's put it together. And in private talk with Blake, before about you, I think I did the best I can to connect, and talking to you privately, I did the best to connect. So I'm very happy we are here together, and I think the mic is coming back to you, so you do more talk. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you for being such a peacemaker.
Thank you. I shake your hand too, so it doesn't look only right.
Didn't you have a dream that inspired this?
I did have a vision. I did the dream in my meditation. And in few conversation with Blake, right after the Vaisalas situation, while Vaisalas is going through something, and we start talking. You know, we're talking, and different pieces of information. Then I saw kind of a why not, and your door become more open. You know, your door wide open. And it was not too many locks, it was kind of inviting. And he's on the other end, as we know, Blake is kind of, you know how to do it, as you say, look good. Yeah. What can we do? He just a good looking guy. Not that you don't look good, no. You know. he put it on the list.
Good. I mean, I think he's beautiful.
Where are we going with this?
This is not good. This is not where I wanted to go. Anyway, so I saw that connection is doable, possible, and I believe that when we make a connection with people from the past, it can bring a lot of fruit. If we ignore some negative memory from the past, it's for everybody, then it can bring only fruit for the future. I do believe in it. So I did whatever I believed in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I don't think I've ever told you, I mean, you start with gratitude for Eliyahu setting this up, but obviously you introduced us, and you guys both know I'm really bad at years and time, and it all blurs for me. So I don't remember, what year was that? Do you remember? You're better.
I remember it vividly. We went out to dinner. Mm-hmm. I had a meeting scheduled with Eliyahu to give him a check for a big check.
A big amount, and I refused to take it for me.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not taking this money.
And I was making a donation, and I asked you and Nick to join me.
That's right.
And when we sat at the dinner table, this was a bad time in my life. I was drinking a lot, but I'm giving this check to him. You two are there. And I saw the way he focused on you. There was a connection. Mm-hmm. And I picked it up. He didn't have such a connection with Nick. I was in my own place, but he was like really leaning in on you. Like he wanted to help you, I could tell. And then you guys had a relationship that just blossomed from there. It was just beautiful to see that, you know, I kind of set up the dinner. And you know, you two kind of had a connection. You were asking him a lot of questions, if I recall now. And you had very specific questions because I had shared with you some of the things that he had taught me. Yeah. And you were like, I want to know about this, I want to know about that. And Eliyahu saw that you had an appetite for learning. and you were really interested in learning from him, and so that's when the connection was made.
That's true. That's true. And I sit next to you and I start to explain to you different method, different idea. And at first I saw that you are thirsty and you have desire, and your question is basically a question of somebody want to know. There's a question of people who just ask, but you really want to know, like simple want to know. So, and I did call Ryan after that. I said, wow, this guy's amazing. I mean, the first time I met you, actually, you were behind the desk with pile of project.
Our office.
Yeah, you remember that office on Wilshire? Mm-hmm. Upstairs, you had some office. I don't remember the location, but you had the office 2nd floor or 8th floor. I don't remember. And that office was, not enough energy. It was a certain moment
maybe at that time.
At that time.
Yeah, he told me afterward. He said this office is low energy. Yeah. He said you need to change the energy. That's
You were, because you are so humble. You were behind desk and with a pile, making something work. Try to make something work. And then I asked Ryan, "Who's that?" "Oh, my partner." I said, "Very, very nice. Very good energy." That. And then later on we met for lunch, for dinner. I think it was with Nick, and I think it was a strong connection that would last after that for a long, long time. So, and listen, we know each other for many years now. What is it now? 8 years more? No, it's 9 years. 9 years.
Going on 10 years.
Yeah, going on 10 years. That's mean. From my point of view, from spiritual point of view, that's when God is into it too. Mm-hmm. Meaning, if God is investing 10 years for people to know each other, that's when God chose those people to do something for the world. I don't know what it is, and that's why we're starting this, but I know there is something that's supposed to contribute to the world. I don't have the name for it, I don't have the how, I don't have the what, I don't have the where. But I have just, something is happening here, it's the seed level. So where it's gonna go, it's gonna go. And that's why, if you remember, one night I was calling both of you. I said, "Listen, I'm doing that podcast." And I said, "Really?" "Yes." I was not really ready for a podcast. I didn't know what podcast means. I said, "Everybody's doing it. I'm going to do it too." Mm-hmm. And you came to my mind, two of you. And I have the thinker, your friend from Miami, and this person. I said, no. This is the best. Two of them are the best. And then when you both agreed to do that, I was fascinated and happy. And after the talk, I said, "Wow. It's so powerful." But I was not ready yet. I didn't have the team. I didn't have the right people. So it's still a potential. It's still a great idea. I believe still that idea. So.
Well, thank you both for sharing. So I couldn't recall, and you know me really, really well, and as do you, right? But when both of you shared those stories, I immediately went to both those places. So I remember the first day, because you were super excited when you met Eliyahu, and I remember you told us you were bringing him in, and so I remember that moment walking through the office. And Ryan's always had like the uncanny ability, it's like a natural gift to just attract just fascinating, interesting people. Always. So he's done that for as long as I've known him. It is more than a gift, right? And so I remember your excitement and him walking through the office that day, and then I do remember that exact dinner where I was sitting right on the same side and having that conversation. But I probably never thanked you, because obviously that was an introduction. I don't know exactly when we kind of moved into the coaching phase. I don't think it was instantly, but I never had like a coach outside of our partnership, right? Or a mentor.
Not right away. Not
it took
right
a
away.
while.
I'm thinking that's when we moved to Crest. So this is like in August, no? Something like that. When we moved, August, September.
Some things probably had to fall apart a little further.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where you never know the relationships that come into your life and when those doors are going to open. But thank you for that.
It's generally when things are going really bad that you finally say, "Help! I need help. I'll pay for it. I'll do whatever I need." Yeah. That's when people tend to seek mentorship.
Yeah.
It's amazing what you just say. In coaching, a lot of time you meet the people when it's in the low. You meet them in the low.
Yeah.
So you want to know where they come from, because some people really fell so low from where they are. So I always ask people, and every person asks, "Okay, tell me about where you're coming from." And they show me where they come from. I said, "Whoa, that's pretty high." And both of you, come from something so big, so large. So when you text me or call me, in a way I felt a little bit your pain, because you were in the cream, not in the cream, in the cherry, not in the cherry, on the glaze on the cherry. You were in the glaze on the cherry, not the cherry, not the cream, not the cake, like the highest. It cannot go bigger and better. And it's beautiful how, I mean, I would like to say something about both of you. I learned from both of you so much. And what you just say about Ryan, you know, to attract the right people, you know, to organize. When he's clear about his direction, he can make it happen. Once he gets clear on the direction, make it happen. With you, you're very serious, very loyal. You get to the point. You have always in December, you have that paper that I'm in love with, that your goals. I love that goals, everything. You ever saw that?
Yeah.
It's the best paper.
I have come to appreciate.
Everybody do this homework.
Yeah.
I make every person say, okay, now homework, Blake style.
I've come to appreciate Blake much, much more. As I'm building, my company, I always tell my team, I wish I had my Blake. I wish I had Blake. I wish Blake's eyes were on this. I wish Blake's attention to detail was on this. I wish Blake were looking at this. Like, sometimes I just fantasize that you're right there next to me as I'm building. And I'm like, what would Blake do in this scenario? Okay, that's what I'm going to do.
I think the magic of what we created, the cherry analogy, I mean, it all came down to just partnership, right? I mean, and everybody playing their own role and their own gift and their own lane, and all of us playing off each other. And it's not ever any one piece, right? It's how the pieces come together. And we were always aligned on what we were creating at a vision level, at a values level, and it took all of us to go do what we did, for sure. As with anything, right?
But I don't think we knew how high. He says we're way up there. I don't think we understood the altitude we were at, and now we do.
Yeah.
Because looking back up over there, like, oh yeah, that was different.
That was
private jets and all the things that we had.
Everything.
Yeah.
Well, I think we, in our mind, thought we were just getting started and it would never end, right? I mean, even though we were early 30s, right? And at a place that I guess most people would spend their life wanting to get to. In our mind, that was just the beginning. And when you're in the middle of it, you don't realize where you're at, and you definitely don't think that you're at a top. You think that it's going to go up forever.
That's the ego. But the good news is we have crashed, and now we've worked our way back up to a degree. And then I know you've had a crash too in your life. You've crashed. So let's talk about that. I think it'd be interesting, because I'd like to just throw out there, I fell off that mountaintop hard, and I hit my head every way down, literally and physically, and then hit a bottom of all bottoms, and then rebuilt myself from there. So let's talk about falls and getting back up and what that takes.
To fall and to get up. I mean, if you don't mind, I will address it first spiritually, if it's okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, why we falling? I mean, what is the book from 2,000 years ago talking about falling? So when you fall, basically they don't look at your mind being falling, it look at the body being falling. So the body get fall. So try to imagine that the person till the neck is staying in the right attitude. And from the neck down, that piece is going down. So that piece that go down is get connected to the head of the lower piece. Okay, every system has a head and basically a tail, if you want, like the beginning and the end of the piece. So that part that it's the end of the upper piece falling down to the head of the lower piece. When it need to go back up and the person changing, it bring actually also the head of the lower piece to go up. So falling is needed. We need to fall for the sake of raising a certain piece from below to go to a higher place. Mm-hmm. What that piece is for each person is different. If we're talking for me, I like to serve people. I have what we call slave mentality. I enjoy being a servant more than being a leader. I love that. And maybe that's why I choose the position of a coach and helping people and guiding people, instead of being more in a leader type and then hire 2 or 3 coaches to help me with what I want to do. So for me, many people in my life took advantage of me, took advantage of my mindset, took advantage of my goodness. I'm not talking from a point I'm blaming. It's not a victim kind of a thing. It's more, I put myself there because I benefit from it. I benefit from saying, wow, the servant did a great job. You're doing a great job. Keep doing it. And I'm like, a good little dog, getting my sausage and going back to do my job. And it was comfortable for me. It was very, very comfortable because I was somebody. I was somebody in the name of servant. And the best servant exists. I was the best servant, actually. And at one point, I had a wake-up call that was about 10 years ago. And I didn't know if the wake-up call come from my ego. I didn't know. Maybe it's my ego talking. You have to do it yourself. No, I'm comfortable here. I don't have to do anything myself. And I realized that the people who take charge over leadership are actually less selfish than the people who serve. And I said to my mind, it can't be true, because the one who serves is always the nicest. But the one who lead cannot do a lot of mistake. It's up to you. You're doing mistake, you are the one who's going to pay the price. You're doing that, you're the one who pay. All of a sudden, the leaders is actually the one who's in charge of everything go wrong or go right. You get credit for being right sometimes, but most of the time you get judged by all the mistake you did. And at that moment, it was kind of a wake-up call for me. It happened to me again about 1 year ago. I find myself in the same position that I'm serving and serving and serving. And I had to let go. I had to let go of some investors that were choking me and making me their slave, not a servant even. And I had to let go of money, but I had to let go of people as well that were find that weakness about me. And it's something that I'm working on. I'm not sure I'm there yet. I enjoy serving. I cannot take it out of me. I just enjoy making food for people. I enjoy hosting people. It's fun for me. If I'm going to be around the right people, I think it's a good thing. But I happen to be, I don't have the gift Ryan has to choose always perfect people around him. I choose all people. So in between there is good and there is bad, and the bad take advantage. And I'm just more aware of it. So so talking about falling, I don't want to fall there again. I want not to be afraid to lead. I don't want to be in that position, and I don't want to be just giving just advice or just something that make the other person win, which I enjoy to see another person win, but I would like to be part of that winning things. And that maybe, I don't want to say scared me, but I need to push myself a little bit forward in a place that I say to myself, you know what, I'm ready. I can make a difference in the world. I make a difference in so many people. Why not to make it large in a way that I can make it happen? So I will not lie to you. It's a little scary, you know, rather than go back to the couch and not too much responsibility, and I'm here only to serve somebody, and I go home and I'm okay. So that's something I'm still working on, and that's where I fell my entire life for many, many years. I'm talking about 29 years of the same behavior, serving, the slave doing a good job, the slave doing a good job. So that was my wake-up call. So we all met in a way, for me going to transformation, you going to transformation, you going to transformation. And I believe God somehow put people together who are going to the same, like the laws of affinity, you know, or the laws of, as the rabbi called it, shivui tzura, meaning that you become the same. You have to meet each other. You have to meet each other. And you add a lot to my life, both of you. Both of you had so much to my life. I mean, you had so much to my life right after I make that move. You know, we start working together, and I learned from you how serious you are about every project. I learned from you that there is not such a thing as closed door. You're just going to go to the door, closed door, not I'm going to jump to the window, and I'm going to make things happen. And I love that about you. You both have different things that inspire me so much and make me believe that it's possible, that whatever I'm going through, it is possible. As much as I guide you or advise you, I found from you the voice of God helping me with my mission. That's the way I saw it. Okay, so. Yeah.
Well, I think it's an interesting perspective, because you wouldn't think a servant-driven attitude or service-driven attitude comes from a place of ego, right? And I think that a lot of people. Exactly. I think a lot of people can relate to constantly, you know, wanting to do things for other people, and we tell ourselves, because I do the same thing, right? We're telling ourselves we're doing that for them, but no, we're doing that for us. We're doing that because of the way it makes us feel about ourselves, and you know, the accolades we get when we do it. Thank you for highlighting that, because I think there's a lot of us that fall into that same servant mentality.
Exactly. But I was just with the wrong crowd, and when you're with the wrong crowd, you cannot get out of it, because you keep pleasing.
Yeah.
You keep try to make them happy with you.
Well, they condition
And the wrong crowd, you never win.
They condition you. You were conditioned.
Exactly. I never make it because it's a cycle. And again, oh, you didn't do a good job yesterday. So what can I do today to make it better? And that's the part, I call it an addiction. That's the addiction I was getting out of 9 years ago. And it helped me a lot. If you would meet me there, I mean, you met me there exactly at that time. I was scared.
Yep.
I was
remember
very
we
scared.
talked
Yes,
about that.
I was panicking.
In many of our one-on-ones that we'd have,
Yes.
you would share with me, what do you think about this? What do you think about that?
Exactly.
And I would say, who's coaching who here? I remember sitting there thinking to myself, I thought I was the one getting coaching. He'd be like,
true.
you know, what's it look like on the outside? He would
Exactly.
he'd ask me lots of questions about
I didn't know what's on the
starting,
outside.
you know.
I didn't know. You
I
need
remember
to
I
know.
nudged you. I said, you got to go. Remember?
Exactly.
I
yes.
told you that. I said, you
I
gotta
didn't
go.
know what's happening out there. You need to know. I was devoted into a mission of many people that I am there to serve, and I had no clue. You need to know. I didn't care about money. I didn't get money for it. I didn't get nothing. That's empty. Nothing. Just a bed to sleep. That's how I start my.
And how many years? You did that for 30 years? 29. So for 29 years, you lived a life of poverty.
Yeah.
And it was a vow of poverty, much like what the monks would do. And yeah.
Life of a monk, yeah.
Life
Life of a monk. That's what we
incredible.
did. That's a life of a monk. Until I started to see like things which against humanity, and it bothered me, but I couldn't speak about it because you have kids.
But living a life of a monk is incredible. That you did that for 29 years. Like that's incredible. I often think about vows of poverty. You know, in Christianity, you know, Jesus told everyone to sell everything they have and follow me, and take a vow of poverty. And I couldn't imagine taking a vow of poverty for 29 years and saying that I'm going to serve. And that's incredible that you did that.
Yeah, there is blessing in it. There's blessing in it. I will tell you, in the beginning of the journey, I was supposed to lead a group. And as leading the group, I was in South America. I don't speak Spanish, and I don't have money where to stay. I don't know where to stay. So I remember that there is 3 people that I'm teaching them about how to teach and what need to be done. And they looked at me and said, where are we sleeping tonight? I said, well, not sure yet. We're working on it. Don't worry. You know, it's all in the hand of God. And they look at me and say, yes, we know it's in the hand of God, but beside the hand of God, what's happening? I said, well, I don't have a plan. Sorry, I don't have a plan. And I remember I put 2 of them in a hotel, and me and the guy who looked more mature, look at him, I said to him, listen, Abe, it looked like the car will be our best friend for tonight. Are you comfortable with that? He said, what? I said, I came all the way from South Africa to sleep in the car. I said, man, one night. I said, you sure it's one night? I said, maybe 2. So we are now in Uruguay. I don't know if you've ever been in Uruguay, in an area called Punta del Este. I'm there to give some lectures, and the people don't even know I have nothing. And I'm sitting in the car, and there is that guy that was praying next to me, and he needed some help. So I show him the help, and he's passing by the street. And I'm embarrassed. You see me in the car preparing for my night's sleep. So I'm looking, and I say, hey, just don't look. They don't come approaching us. The guy approaches, knock on the window. I say, Eliyahu, what's going on? I say, well, you know, the budget didn't allow us to send more than 2 people. We put 2 people, and we are here. Maybe tomorrow night they will go in the car and we will go there. So what are you talking about? I said, why didn't you tell me? So he gave us the key to his car, the key to his house, to everything. He said, no, we can't take it. I said, you have to take it. You have to take it. We're going into his house, fancy home. So I'm saying to Abe, I say, Abe, we're sleeping on the floor tonight. So why? We have mattress. We have even give us maid to take care of us the whole time. So now we have to sleep on the floor, so we not get used to that too comfortable. It might be too comfortable. But I saw God in every aspect, still see God in every aspect, include this. I don't know where it's going, but I know it's going to go in the right direction. So, and I didn't look at my life as living a life of poverty. I look at living a life together with God. So it doesn't matter if God is in the car, or God is in the hotel, or God is in the fancy steak, or God is with tough time. I believe God is in everything we do. It's just, you know, sometimes it's not going to work the way you want it. But God's still there, even it doesn't look like it.
Stepping back, I'm resonating with the word, you said addiction, and addiction's a big word.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add, just hearing your story, kind of like, I felt kind of like an acceptance addiction. It's kind of like what you were describing a minute ago. I've been in that path.
That's what I went through, yeah.
I've been in that path for a long time.
Very
And
tough.
I'm curious your guys' take, because it's not just us. Like, there's so many people today are stuck in that, like, acceptance addiction, chasing the approval of others or what others think.
Yeah.
Like, why is that the case? What's your guys' take? Like, why is it like a pandemic of most of the world that cares more about people that don't care anything about them than they do about themselves? Like, why? How did we get up here? How do we get out? Where did it come from? Has it always been this way? These are my questions.
Well, the human condition is just one of constant battle against addiction.
Yeah.
And everybody's got something that they're addicted to. Could be the news, could be being right, it could be political addictions, could be their religion. Everybody's got something, right? Could be coffee. There's something that calls us all that we have to combat and work on and look at and address, at least from my perspective. So when people criticize drug addicts, like everybody's an addict of something, and so many people are closet addicts or they don't even know that they're addicts, right? So I look at everyone, I think we're all battling some addiction or another.
Yeah.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
The way I look at addiction is, from a Kabbalist point of view, it's idol worshiping. It's what is your idol? What do you choose instead of God? So if you have God in front of you the whole time, then you don't have to worry about pleasing that individual, boss, girlfriend, wife, husband. We want to share with them, but we don't want to, I think, please them. Pleasing is not sharing, because when I please you, I want you to like me. I don't care about you, I care about you giving me something in return. So there is a selfish agenda there that's why I call it addiction, because I realize I'm benefit from that, because I'm nice to that guy, then I go to a trip to Poland. I'm nice to that guy, I get extra amount of cake or pizza or money. So those people are in charge of giving me gift. So am I really need their approval? I think it's not the approval I'm looking for the gift. And the way to get the gift is seeking their approval, because they are controlling the gift.
Yeah.
So this is the danger. And with a lot of study I did for so many years, and that's what really saved me. Study, books, a lot of books of Kabbalah. It helped me to really understand that there is one force. There's one force, and that one force, if you try to please that force, you're good. If you try to get approval from that force, you're good. You can call it light, divine, God, whatever name, but you want to please that force. You want to connect to that force. And then life looks different. But if I want to please a branch of that force, which is human, then you're going to run into a situation that you're working with the branch. You're not going to working with the roots.
Yeah.
We must work with the roots. I think that's the essence. So when I'm looking at people today who are forcing me in a certain direction, I'm looking into it again. So where does that come from? Does that come from God? Does that come from them? If it's come from them, what am exactly I'm doing here? What am I supposed to do? And then I take it to a different level. So what you talking about, like most people need approval of someone, but you see some people who work on that very well. And they start functioning, I think, in a very different way, because the freedom is not when you get what you want. Freedom is when you control what you want. That's the difference. And most people think in freedom, I can do whatever I want. I'm free to do whatever I want. No, you're not. You've been told to do whatever you want to, about to do. I want to eat because you've been forced to eat. Your biological, chemical in the stomach or something forcing you. But to control that need to get an approval from a boss, from a friend, from you're missing something. Because if I'm looking to get approval from my wife Debbie, then I'm no longer care about Debbie. Meaning if I'm busy sharing with her and loving her, And I'm not supposed to stay and waiting if she is kind of approve of the way I behave. She can tell me, hey, I like it better this way, no problem, then we can change. But approval is what I learned about myself. I'm not saying about you guys. It's a very selfish act. Yeah. Very selfish. It's so selfish that it's almost like the devil hide with that coat, that coat of approval. Hey, you're just too giving. What's the big deal? You are helping people. Yeah, but why am I helping? What's my agenda? What's my goal here? My goal is to be helping you, be saving you, be nice to you. I remember one of my old bosses one time invited me to his apartment. And at that time, he was pretty depressed. Why was he depressed? He was depressed. He told me a famous musician, he said, did better than me in spirituality than I did. And I had to sit with him and explain to him, no, I mean, you did so much more, and without you, she would never get to that place. You were it. And then he looked at me and said, wow, thank you so much. Now, his thank you keep me awake all night. All night I'm staying with, hey, I just gotta thank you. Yeah. I gotta thank you. I gotta thank you. No paycheck, no money, no nothing. Just that thank you. Like somebody value me. So I think, I mean, it's include many things. As I said before, it's spiritual thing. I think it's also trauma from childhood. I mean, as the mother gives birth to the child, it's a rejection. It's like, go away. So we need to get acceptance, rejection from the mother womb. You're going away. You were one body, and now you are two. Tough how to go back. So we have it in us. It's in our DNA, and we gotta go back to connect to the source. Like, what's the source? What's the idea? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Because if a person think about life and think that, how long is a person gonna be here? You gotta measure the time. So how long am I gonna seek approval?
Yeah. Well, and there's an energy suck to it. So, like, I mean, I'm asking the questions because, like, I've navigated that my whole life and battled with my whole life, and I think a lot of people have. You know, I never saw that from you. So I'm gonna ask you in a minute because I maybe it's the truth, but like Ryan always seems like
Ryan gotta give us something.
Yeah, well, he has the confidence, but for me, like, I always felt the same way and like chase the exception, and then you get really in potentially unhealthy, toxic relationships when you're with somebody that there is no win. Right? No matter how much you give, they're just going to take, and it's just a bottomless pit of taking. And so I resonate with, I call it an energy suck, because you sit there and waste. At one point I remember it's like, how much of my mental space and physical energy am I literally draining trying to win the approval of someone who will never get it? And there's an opportunity cost to like that energy suck that if you can detach, connect to the source, and then refocus in another direction can be so powerful. But I'm curious your take on this, because like my perception of working with you for 15 years, like I never saw that with you. You always seem to like, you know, be the influencer in the room, right, or be the one leading the conversation, but it never appeared that you totally, right, were chasing approval of somebody. Like, is that natural, or were you really, or were you just better at masking it, or was that just something that you're built differently? You don't need that validation that like people like us needed along the way.
I needed validation in many other ways. Some ways that I'll never tell anybody about. There's certain things that I got validation in that just will keep that between me and my higher power. So there was a lot of desire there. But back to what you said, Eliyahu, around, you know, I didn't have parents that I needed to seek approval from. So I never had that whatsoever, because my dad was gone at 13, and my mother was an alcoholic, and she loved me unconditionally no matter what I did. There was never conditions, because she was in such pain that she didn't say, I love you if you get an A, or if you don't get an A, I don't love you. That was, if you just show up, she loved me. Yeah, right?
She was an amazing soul.
Yeah, so, you know, you met her. So that, I didn't have that same kind of wiring around seeking approval from my parents, and my parents withholding love, you know, to get me, to control me, and that's what happens a lot, is children are trained that no equals no love. And so, you know, they're constantly conditioned to seek their parents' approval. And then we go out into the world seeking approval. So I didn't have that. So but I did have other desires, other ways that I, you know, got gratified. but it wasn't, also because I think that I lived a very wild upbringing, in and out of gangs, in and out of jail. I just had a different context. Like I didn't see this person's walk. Like I knew my walk was really tough. I knew I'd faced a lot of adversity, and I was sizing up people all the time. And in a jail, I'd take anyone down. Basically, is the way I looked at it. So my mindset wasn't, it was more. I just knew I had a place to be, and this person was on the way.
It's interesting when you're seeking that approval, you end up showing up inauthentically, right? I mean, and that's like the big issue, is because you're constantly adjusting your behavior based on what you think they're going to need, right, to get to that boy, or at least in my experience, and when you can detach and, like you say, connect to the source, you can kind of show up the way you're meant to show up without any sort of filter or any sort of mask.
As a servant, I was always honest, meaning what's the best for them. So what will be the best for them? I remember one time I was serving a boss, and I organized for them a nice dinner with the driver. Everything is nice, Broadway show, like you cannot imagine better than that. So, and waiting at their house to open the door for them when the limousine arrived. So the limousine arrived, it was a couple, a husband and wife. So the wife come out to say, the food wasn't that great. And then the husband come out and say, the show was okay, it wasn't that amazing. So I go, and how was the limousine? Was the limousine any good? Like I'm trying, is everybody appreciate the limousine I organized? So you can't make people happy, you just can't. Yeah. So I was always honest with what I do for the other person. I didn't recognize it until not too long ago that I'm actually become addicted to their approval of me, because you mentioned it before, my parents didn't give me that approval. My father grew up in Sicily, then moved to Israel, and he grew up as an orphan, so no parents for him, so his expression of emotion was not, it was anger, was the emotion. And my mom was building the whole house to make sure we all get educated. So it was the approval of, I did very well in school, but if I get 85, of course the question would be, how come you didn't get 100? What's going on? So it was a bit different. So I think that the all approval things for me wasn't coming from a place of lying to myself or lying to them. I was really authentic about what's the best for them. I was ready to take a bullet, like I went a little bit too far. I was ready to take a bullet for whoever is around me and whoever is that. And I was taking a bullet, not exactly the bullet that kill you, but I was taking a bullet like if there is somebody to blame, I was ready there and it was me. You understand? So I remember at one point.
I guess I just remember the way Ryan first introduced you when we met prior to that dinner meeting. Right, and I've never asked you this in all of our time together, so I'm curious. And I don't even know if this is a public conversation you're willing to share. But Ryan framed it like you have to meet this Eliyahu, like he has a gift. I'm like, what do you mean he has a gift? Like he has a gift. He sees things. He has visions, and you're like I don't know. It's unlike anything I can explain. Like, that's how he's. So when I went to dinner, that's why I was so curious and inquisitive. I was like,
that's why.
I was like, in obviously in our time together, like I've seen like. You have a gift, like.
Thank God.
Do you talk about this publicly? Is it
gift.
weird to talk about it publicly?
No.
How do you see these visions? You have these dreams, like you see these things. When did this start? What does this look like? How does this work? Like I want to understand this.
The gift started in a young age. I tried to bury it when I met the.
But people. No. You got to go into detail. So what? So when? Where? How?
When I was a young boy, it started when I was 7 years old.
Okay.
7 years old, but as a 7 years old, it's embarrassing that you start seeing things, knowing things, so you try to avoid it as much as you can.
Do you remember the first time, like, you saw something that...
It's seeing a lot of details condensed into 1 minute. So a conversation of, let's say, 20 years, will be condensed into 1 minute with the information that you need. But as a kid, you don't know what to do with that. You just try to bury it and avoid it and try to stay normal. And they say, okay, I got to be normal. This is not a good thing. Other kids playing outside. I'm still thinking, this is got to go away. And I was fighting with that. And thank God, I thought I won. And until I started studying spirituality a little bit later in life. And then I was fascinating with all the things that I'm studying. And I said, I'm nervous that these things will not start to happen again. And when I came to America, I didn't told nobody about what I do, who I am, and I met the people that I'm pleasing. Mm-hmm. So they saw a few decisions that I made, and they asked me, how did you make that decision? How did you know this is the thing? So I guess. I didn't want to lie. I said, I guess. I don't know. It just happened. And then again and again, they took me aside, and they say, well, that could be excellent for our business. And then I become basically a famous reader. As a famous reader, it was a good thing from being famous as a young boy. The bad things was that you're traveling all the time, mm-hmm. and everybody else have a home. I didn't have a home, so you talk about being a monk. It's not only I didn't have a home. You need to know I was traveling from place to place with the rich and famous, but me, myself, nothing. I don't know if you can imagine something. This meaning I would sleep in Santa Barbara in the fanciest home you can ever see in your life, in an area called Montecito. Mm-hmm. So they come to pick me up from Pico with a car. They put the driver, sir, let me open the door for you. So I'm coming like that, but in the end, I'm sleeping in Montecito, and everybody tell me, oh my God, Montecito. And I'm taking the pictures. This is where I am. This is what's happening. This is the ocean. This is the thing. This is the people who come to visit. And then,
how does it work?
How did that work? How did that work? I give you an example. So there's a very famous band who happen to live in Montecito. So they come to see me, and no names. So one of the lady who keep asking me a question. A voice start to play role in my head, and say, I'm her father. Mm-hmm. And I would like to tell you that whatever she's telling you, it's a lie. So now I said, okay, Eliyahu, either you went crazy or either it's real. How do you check it? You're asking her. And I tell him, while I'm in conversation, let's say with you, I'm asking that voice to give me a sign it's true. So when the sign comes and it's true, I ask her, did your father left you a metal piece look like square? And she told me, yes, he did. That's amazing. If that's amazing, that's mean what he's telling me about her, it's also amazing. So then I tell her, if that's true, I'm sorry to tell you, I need to hear about your lover. Mm. And then she get like, wait a minute, what's happening? So, well, you are sick because of those few things. And then we start working. Mm-hmm. And then, so I carry a lot of secret of many, many important people, and it's not to reveal.
It's like he has two sets of ears.
Yes.
He has the ears that are hearing us talking right now, and then he has another set of ears that are picking up some other things.
Exactly.
Now, have you trained those ears, or it just came to you? And
I went actually to Mexico to shut it down. I went to Mexico to shut it down because I used to see things. Thank God now I'm not seeing. It's scary. So now I can only hear. So I went to Mexico to a shaman, a lady shaman. She was very powerful. She said, why are you here? What do you need to open? I said, I came here to close. She said, what? I said, yeah, you better close this channel because I'm tired. I can't do it anymore. I want to get married. I was single. I want to get married. They're using me, in a way. I was making very good money for a lot of people. So I was traveling. They put me, okay, Eliyahu, today we need you in Mexico. There is 100 people waiting for you. You're going to Toronto. There's 500 people waiting for you. I didn't have a life. You guys look at it like fame and news and Fox 5 and magazine. But in the end of the day, I'm the one with no life, no money.
It's fascinating. Everybody dreams to have a gift, and then he shuts one down. He's like, I want to use one of the.
But you need to know, it's not because I'm humble, because I didn't have a life. Yeah. You guys don't fully understand what I mean, don't have a life. I give advice to some of the head of the studio here in Hollywood, like what to do, how to go about it. And today, they have a great life, but it doesn't mean that it was comfortable for me as an individual, because after that, I'm going home. Right. I'm going home to my little bed, sleeping with another 8 guys there. So, as you say, poverty or poor, whatever you want to name it.
Have you met other people who have a similar gift that works
I met
the
2.
same way? Is it? You think it's something that's just naturally given?
It's a gift.
It's a gift. You can learn?
I refuse to call it a gift. Mm-hmm. I refuse for many, many years to call it a gift and push that away. And I say it's a technique. Okay. So I start teaching the technique for hundreds of people, thousands of people. He said, I'm going to teach you the technique how to read people in 5 minutes. What I realized after many years, I'm teaching it, but then don't grasping it. So that's weird. Until a person named Moshe, this was named Moshe, came to me and said to me, listen, I study what you study for so many years, 25 years. I sneak in and I took one of the recording you did with one of the people you helped. He said, it's illegal. Why would you do that? I said, I got to listen how you do it. And after I listen to what you do, it's not written in the book. You got to teach me what's going on. So I sat with him, and then he realized, he said, you understand, it's not from the book. He's the one who woke me up. He said to me, Eliyahu, it's not from the book. You're getting it from a different place. In the book, I know what's written. I know it by heart. So that's when I started to wake up, and I said, okay, it's a gift from God, plus the technique. So the technique I'm teaching, the gift of God, I just start to accept it's just a gift. My kids keep telling me that. My wife keeps telling me that. I was refused to listen that it's a gift. I was only stick to the plan, stick to the Zohar, stick to the book, read what it say, and just do that. And then I start to realize that I start seeing within the words different code. I thought everybody saw it, and I took the code and started teaching it. Then I look at the people's faces and say, whoa, they're not understanding me. Words what I'm talking about. Then I realize it's a gift. So it's a gift of looking the person condition in the face, to be more sensitive, mindfulness help, caring about people. I believe that when I teach people how to read people, I said there is a few levels of connecting to the soul of the individual, and the oblivious will be the lowest level, responsible will be the next level, and then caring is the highest level. When you truly care for a person, everybody can read them, and that's what I teach in my technique. You care about a person, you really care about them, you know exactly what they feel. You know exactly what they feel. So I have to mention also that when you open yourself for that gift, there's two channels. There's the channel of the good side, and there's the channel of the bad side. So you gotta be careful how you play with it, because when the bad side start to give you a real news, it's not necessarily will be good for you or good for the others. So not all things, I just want to mention that. Yeah. So it's something that you were born to use to help humanity.
Yeah. Vulnerability has been a tough one for me, for some of the reasons that we've talked a lot about already in this conversation. Like, I think the way a lot of us are brought up, and even us in business, Ryan, like I remember we used to teach like leaders never flinch. Yeah. Like he was like is like you teach leadership. You never show your thorn. You can't show a hole in the armor. Like you gotta. It's the whole perfect lie, right? You got to show the example, and that was just the environment I was raised in, and that was even the environment I was taught in when it came to business. So the aspect of like lowering your guard. You always were great at it. You always say, you got to show your thorns. You got to show your thorns. And Ryan was always good at just intentionally and vulnerably showing his thorns, which is part of his power and his strength that people align. I probably learned this, thinking in it now, I probably learned it from you the most and first, that it took me a lot longer to get there, that when you actually do just let yourself be you and don't have the guard and don't have the filter, people have such a deep level of connection and relatability than trying to hide all of that. So, I mean, I think my answer would be, if you're not coming from a vulnerable place, you're never going to connect as deeply and as, as meaningfully as you can.
That's beautiful.
I never thought about the idea that I'm stopped being a student. That's never stopped for me. I always study. I always study from people. I study from people's body movement. I study from people's behavior, the voice of, and how they do things. So I'm a student if I walk into a restaurant tonight for a dinner meeting, I know I'm going to study something from the waiters, from the people I'm with, from somebody. So to teach is basically for me to share a past experience or knowledge from the book, from old books, that I can pass on to many, many people. So I will never be stopped being a student. It's the joy. I enjoy more being a student than being a teacher. That's a true answer.
My answer, I felt the same way instantly. So if you ask, are you a teacher or you're a student? I'm a student. I've always been a student. I'll always be a student. I think we're all teachers in different ways.
Yes.
But like my identity is perpetually a student. And I remember the first time, so obviously I did well in school as a student, but I didn't enjoy it. And I remember in college where I started learning like personal growth and business and some of the stuff we grew up in.
That's when I met you.
For the first time, that's where we became partners. And I'm like, oh, I love this. And all I did is I tell people through the educational program and path in college, I learned how I learn. But then when I learned what I actually wanted to learn, I was able to apply how I learned that, and I loved it. And never stop really learning. I mean, still today, to listen, read, podcast, absorb. So I love all of that. And even when I guess what people would call teaching, the only reason I teach is it's just another layer of me anchoring in what I learned, right? Exactly. So like when you give and when you teach, it's
you explain it better to me. The same words.
Well, you think people teach because of them? Yeah, you are giving, but you're teaching also because you're reinforcing, right, a new belief or a new learning or building a muscle, right? And it's a higher level of learning. I don't know. What's your take?
I teach a simple principle: learn what you want to teach what you want to learn, and that's what I live my life by. So every day I wake up and want to learn something because I want to teach it.
Yep.
And then in order for me to really learn it, then I have to teach it. So teach what I want to learn what I want to teach.
Love that.
Wow. It's written in Pirkei Avot. It's written in a book that was written 2,000 years ago. It's actually written there. What do you study? You study to teach, or you study. It was exactly that verse. Yeah. Wow.
No, it was a divine revelation, and that's what I live my life by. Every morning I wake up and I learn what I want to teach, and then I teach what I want to learn.
And anybody has that ability. Like, anybody can get excited about learning something. And if you're excited about learning something, you're going to be excited about sharing something. Like anybody can.
Cool. I want to ask a question about this subject, though, because sharing seems very simple. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It seems like, sharing, I got that down. But it's much more complex than that, right? Sharing is, spiritually, sharing has a lot more meaning than just, I'm going to share some information. So can you explain sharing and what that means spiritually and why it's so important spiritually?
Without sharing, there's no flow. Meaning if you inhale, you have to exhale. That's the way the body works. That's the way the universe will go. So when a person is not thinking, what am I truly sharing with my life, with my existence, then that person is busy breathing only, just inhale, and it will explode. The explosion can be in different ways. Some get it in anxiety, some get it panic, some fall into addiction. Everybody explodes differently. Some sad, miserable, I have it all, I'm still miserable. The idea of sharing is truly for the individual who share. Not like many people think, I'm helping a poor person. Oh, thank God I met a poor person, so I can act on my sharing. Thank God I met a person who's lost on the way, so I can help them out to get there. Sharing is not a one-time charity. Sharing is an attitude. The truth of the matter is, I learned sharing from my lovely wife, Debbie, and I saw it. And when I met Debbie, I was very immature and all about myself and ego. I was famous and me. And we sat and we had one plate with a little piece of food on it. And she took that piece of food, whatever it was, and she took the part which is not the greatest, took it for herself, and to me, she gave the better part. And I'm looking, I said, well, this is interesting. And then it kept happening again. And I said, why you give me that part? I said, don't worry, I like that part. She's still doing it, by the way, still doing it. And I said, wow, this is not sacrifice. This is not, just she want me to feel good. And when I feel good, it wasn't from a pleasing point of view. It was truly sharing with me something, sharing with me knowledge, sharing with me food. So when you're sharing something, let's say with your children, with kids, what do? I mean, every parents want to give their kids everything. Giving the kids everything is not actually sharing. Sharing with your kids' ability to do it without you, that's a true sharing. If you never teach your kids how to do it without you, you didn't share with your kids nothing. You can give them gifts and toys and cars and everything and money. You didn't help them. The one thing we don't share with our kids is how to be independent, how truly to be independent. So sharing is the name of the game. It's everything. The way I park the car, the way I drive, the way I eat, it's all day long. It's in the system.
So you filter the world through how you're sharing. So
Yes.
you start by sharing. Everything is a share.
Sharing, yes. Let's say
That's an interesting way to walk. Like I don't walk around thinking, if I'm walking in the park and I see someone, I share a smile. I share I say hello to them.
Very important. For example, today I went to pray early morning, so there was a lot of people crowded. So I went with my bag and I went to the back. Usually I'm going to the back, so like this I'm not taking too much from the room. Then I saw a spot in the front that I can sit, and the rabbi's brother tell me, why here? You go to the place, it will be more comfortable, Eliyahu, you know me. So I said, no, I'm good here. I start reading the book and do my pray. And then I saw really the spot is nice, and why not? I'm not taking from anybody. And here the rabbi's brother feel that it's too tight. Why don't I go there? It will be better for the rabbi's brother. It will be better for the person there. So your calculation coming from how is my existence can be good for the others. And then you make good choices. It seems like you lose something, but you don't. You actually, it will turn to the best choice eventually. Because you're connecting to the DNA of creation. The DNA of creation is sharing. The tree is sharing oxygen. Everything's sharing. Everything around us sharing. Everything, the minerals sharing. The animals sharing. They all came here to share. Human being came to be tested with the sharing. That's what we are here for. We have to be tested today if we're going to share or receive.
So when you cut someone off and you're not sharing your lane, right? When you cut in line, or you won't share your spot,
Tough.
or
It's very
you
tough.
won't share your food, or
Exactly.
somebody asks you for money and you won't
Exactly.
share your money.
Exactly. Exactly.
Right?
Well, then there's the next step I learned from Eliyahu that is like the even harder part, right?
Yeah.
So let's say we all commit to like consciously sharing, but then it's asking yourself, well, why are you consciously sharing,
you know
right?
that-
Right?
you know
So
that-
am I
where are
sharing
you
because
coming
I'm
from?
feeling good?
Exactly.
Or am I sharing because I'm really
That's a high level.
detached? Like,
That's
but
high.
that messes with you, because then you can
Yes.
think you're a good person, letting people in on the lane and letting people go. But if you're doing that for
Yeah.
yourself, you're not
Yeah.
really
That's
sharing.
tough.
Did I understand the lesson
That-
correctly?
that's
'Cause you
the
put
high-
that in my head, and it's
But that's the
stuck in my-
highest level. You don't have to get there all the time, but
Yeah.
try small. To get to that level, it's called unconditional sharing. And unconditional sharing is the ultimate. Like most people will not get to that level in this lifetime, but some will try, will start feeling like, wow. The good news about it, the trick that you try to share like that, you're never gonna have ego when you share. That's a trick.
That's what makes it so hard.
One of the things, so for example, if I pass by a homeless person, which we often do in Los Angeles, my nature is I'll give him some money. And I also thought that I could also give him humanity. I can give him dignity. I can give him empathy. I can look him in the eyes. You know, if I walk past that homeless person and I give him money and I didn't give him dignity and I didn't give him humanity, then I didn't really give him what I possibly was there to share. And every interaction is a transaction, right? Every interaction is a transaction. It's an opportunity to give something. And that's the level that I've started to realize is, well, no, I don't want to give this person money right now. I want to give this person empathy, right? Because giving them money might make me feel good.
Yeah.
Because I know that the more that I give, the more that I receive. So I know, but if I sit down and give them some empathy and give them a connection and smile at them and connect to them, that might be even more valuable than me giving a couple dollars and passing right past them.
I was walking in Manhattan, the city, and 35 and Broadway. It was a poor man, like in the street, homeless, smell bad, everything you can imagine, really poor. I saw that lady. She did something that was impressing me. I was staring at her, and my wife told me, stop staring at people. I said, I can't. What she did, she bought a small table, 2 little chairs, bought him some food, and eat together with him, keep him company. I said, whoa. She gave him like $10 charity. She gave him the food, and she sat with him. I said, they're sitting with him. Now, that's true sharing, because now you make him happy. Nobody ever did that. You give him food and I'm going to go home. I have to watch my Netflix. No, you actually sit with him for 1 hour. You really make him happy. So by the book, that's actually the true sharing, that you have to make the person happy.
But if you share too much, then you get this whole bread of shame thing.
you're getting into a deep level.
That's a deep one.
Oh, that's a deep one. So the bread of shame is...
What's the short kind of layman's version? Because I have so many people in my life right now dealing with bread of shame, but I don't know how to explain it to them.
Bread of shame means that you receive something that you can never earn. So let's say my gift, it's dangerous because it's a gift.
Yeah.
Your gift, his gift.
Beauty, for example.
Exact beauty. So you need to learn how to take that gift and motivate it to share.
So what happens with if you're the person that is sharing?
Yeah.
Let's layer this. Let's say you're even sharing with the right intention.
Okay, you did well.
Sure.
You did well.
But what you're sharing, the other person doesn't feel like they earned. So you on this side are sharing purely, not from an ego place, but you unintentionally are creating bread of shame in the other person.
I would say no, and it will surprise you. If your intention is to truly help the other person,
Yeah.
it will not be turned into a bread of shame.
Because you wouldn't give them something that they can't hold, right? It's like if with our children, it's an example, and I make mistakes this all the time, where we give them something that they haven't earned, and I want to give them, I want them to be happy. So he says, I want video game points.
Yep.
Here's $100, here's $200, $500, thousands of dollars I spend on video game points to make my son happy, and he knows that, how to push my strings. So, if I really love him, I have to say no. Even though
That's
I have
sharing
it.
too. No is a sharing.
Yeah, I have to say no. I'm not going to give that, even though I can, even though I want.
The no is sharing.
I have to say no because you haven't earned it. Even though I want to, even though I have the money, I have to tell him no because he hasn't earned it. And that's been an evolution for me because I want just to give it to him. I want to make him happy. And then I end up creating a person who has animosity toward me, or he gets upset, or he gets mad at me when I don't give him exactly what he wants every time he asks for it.
Is there a connection between this bread and shame and the whole no good deed goes unpunished?
Oh.
Are these the same thing or are these different things?
The idea is like this. Let's say you give a gift to people. You give a nice speech, and 1,000 people. Let's say 500 of them not ready to earn it yet. They will not be able to use it if you did your job. If you actually did your job to ask one of the greatest questions, do you want my advice? Do you want to hear what I have to say? If they say yes, they now have a vessel. They have a place where to put your advice. You can pour it into that vessel. You, on the other hand, have to be sensitive enough to find out of what's the capability, not what's the desire. Everybody say, I want. And that lesson I learned from my father when I was a kid. I was one boy, 3 girls, spoiled Sephardic Jewish family, and they put in front of me it's like a Persian food. It's a queen's jam. Your wife will tell you all about it. It's a queen's jam, large queen's jam that my mom made. Tasty. And I remember my mom gave each one of us 1 piece. It's a large piece. So I said, I want 3. And my mom said, no. My mom was very strict. No. I said, but I want 3. I'm crying. I was very young. I was 4 or 5 years old. And he said, okay, I'm going to call your father. Call the father is a serious thing. So everybody's out of the kitchen. My father arrived, there's the jar. He brings the whole jar in front of me. Say, we make a deal right now. This is all yours. But you cannot get off the chair until you finish it. Oh boy, I learned my lesson. I ate the second one. Then my father described it better than me. I start crying because I realized I cannot even go on the third one to receive it. What is the lesson here? My father teach me a lesson. You want something, you have to be able to contain it. You have to be able to have a place for it. So a lot of time, when you share something with someone, that's your job to be sensitive. Are they capable? Not how they desire it. Of course I desire all the jar, but am I capable to do it? Am I capable to receive that? You offer somebody $5 billion. They cannot handle it, but they will handle $50. This they can handle.
So what's the practical advice for the person that feels like asking for a friend here? Okay? It feels like that no good deed goes undone, that they give for the right reasons, and it ends up not, or creating an unintended consequence.
That's what meant to happen.
So what's the practical advice?
No, there's no practical advice. That meant to happen. When something's going wrong, it's part of the deal. Don't look at the wrong thing as bad. It's actually part of the deal. Meeting the wrong people in my life was the best thing ever happened to me. There's nothing that is wrong. Like, God doesn't create something wrong. We think it's wrong because selfishly it doesn't fit with what I wanted now. It's not wrong. It's the best thing ever happened. Wrong people came to shape me, came to teach me, came to guide me, came to make me grow. So there's no such a thing. If you do good, you did good. You're meant to do good, no agenda. You really want to help a person, you help a person. Many people that I help them in my life, some of them don't even talk to me. Try to imagine somebody who live in the street. I pick them up, they live in Mexico, they do very well, not even a phone call, nothing. I pick up the phone, how are you? Nothing, they don't want to talk to me. So could be I give overly, and it's a bread of shame. It's not so much your concern. If you did well and you're really helping them in the best way, and they don't want to share, continue to share, it's not up to you.
It's a new level, Ryan. It's a new level. So you share.
You share.
You share with no strings attached.
Check the
right?
level.
You
check
you
check
share
the level.
There you go.
Check the level.
Yeah. You give, and let's say unintended consequences.
You check first you check the level.
Yeah.
So first you check the level.
Very good. Capacity.
Then you share.
If you don't know their capacity,
Capacity
So you check
level.
their
no
level.
desire, capacity.
How big's your vessel?
Exactly.
Like if
that's an important step.
So first you check
Most
the
important.
First is you check the vessel.
Check the vessel.
Then
share.
and ask for permission.
Yeah, if they really want.
Can I give you advice, or
really
may I
want
are you open to
can rape-
receiving this?
You can rape people with goodness. That's what I can tell you. You can rape people with goodness. Rape meaning I'm forcing on you my goodness.
That's a good.
Can you? You can rape somebody with your goodness. You're not allowed. You have to check. Are you into it? Many times that I see people want to teach their wife something. Oh, and it's a funny thing. It's a funny thing.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's a funny thing. I don't know why you're laughing, but it's a funny
I'm
thing.
laughing because I've learned that I'm not.
And the wife looking at them like, I'm not into it.
Yeah.
I don't want it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
And then it's a problem. Let's say, Debbie, can I share a funny story? I want Debbie to play tennis at one point. It's a true story. I want Debbie to play tennis. So we're playing tennis in Boca Raton, and Debbie's really not into it. So are you forcing it to be? I'm not forcing. I'm sharing the idea of the tennis game. Not true. I mean, the idea, I didn't check her capacity. I didn't check her desire. I was sensitive for her time. I was into myself. So my sharing was about me sharing the game of tennis. Yeah. So you gotta be sensitive. The person is not into
He
it.
just gave you a quick framework.
No, I got it. So I've been messing up this whole capacity part,
Yes.
right? So
Give the framework.
Check the capacity.
Break the framework down for us.
Well, here's the sharing system. Here's the sharing system, Eliyahu, right?
Yeah.
Gotta
Look at that, Debbie is going to fix it.
You got to check the capacity.
Step one.
Right, and all the things to make sure.
Check capacity.
And if you feel there's capacity, then we're going to share.
Yeah,
right?
seek
In
confirmation.
any way that you can share. It doesn't have to be tangible, as Ryan pointed out.
Yeah.
But when you share, you got to make sure you're sharing not from a place of what you were going to receive, from a place of them. But
So then you check yourself.
You check yourself. But here's the last one, which really I just got for the first time. And then if it totally blows up and comes back to you,
It's a good thing.
it's what was meant to be.
Right.
And it's what was meant to be.
It's a good thing.
And that's
It's
what's
a
meant
win-win.
to be.
It's
So
a win-win.
you don't judge the unintended consequence. That is what was meant to
You
be.
need to believe in God at that moment. You got to believe
I got
in
it.
God. You
I was
gotta
missing
believe in
2
God.
steps.
So, so let's break it down further. If the person rejects or there's a challenge, you don't get purity back, then we would have empathy for that person. Because if we truly gave it with purity,
Yep.
and they could not receive it, no matter how pure, because they have their own issues they're dealing with,
Yep.
then we would say, I love you unconditionally. I give you empathy because you've technically committed a sin because you asked to receive a gift that you couldn't receive, right? So
I lost you right there. Where did you
You can have
sin?
some compassion and empathy if it blows up and doesn't go as first.
the
Maybe
person
maybe
gives-
that's what's meant to
if the
happen.
Exactly.
If the
But-
person
but
gives
to
you
have some
back-
compassion.
If the person gives you back shame.
If the
after
person
that-
give you back disrespect behavior toward you, maybe as Blake spoke about before, he said in a very beautiful way. So sometimes I do a lot of good things, and then the goodness either come 2 years later or it's come from a different door. So that person come to you for something wrong you did 20 years ago, and it's a payback. You have to pay. So there's no. We think time is exist. I do
It's
good.
linear, and it's just not.
I did good today. Good have to happen today. I did good today. Well, you still owe us some.
Yeah.
Or it could be 10 years from now that this person receives the gift.
Yeah.
And then you will see that you have to plant the seed. With children, children is very, very important for me. So kids are so important because that's the future. We plant seed in their mind with the way we speak to them, how we behave. We're an example, and we're all going to do mistakes. That's the way things go. But You know, a lot of time, my son just got married. So I tell my son, listen, there's a lot of great things that you can learn from me. A lot of them has to do with the thing that I did wrong. And we start laughing. I said, I did some things wrong. You need to learn from those lessons. So what are you talking about? So I said, no, I'm talking about me doing some mistake. You need to look into it and don't do that. And just doing that, it's already better. And then you can adapt the good things. So not all the thing has to be good. I mean, there is movie kind of Hollywood. It's not meant to be all good. It's meant to be darkness and wrong people, because that's the way you win.
That makes sense. Saying that we all can relate to. We've been through times that were horrible when we were in them. Like, why is this happening? And then later it's like, oh, that's why that was happening, right? So that we can all relate. Just when you're in the moment, sometimes it's hard to remind yourself of that. Let me ask you another one. So this is like, I'm curious, like from an energy place. So it almost seems, and this is like the interconnectedness, right? You create something, right? And if you create something, it seems to take on the energy of which you had when you created it. In other words, like I feel like we've been in dark places, right? If you're in a dark place, and even though if you do the actions and you create the thing, it doesn't seem to ever get the result if it came from not the right place. Is there any spiritual laws on this? And but if you create from the right place, even if you mess everything up,
I will tell you,
whatever gets created ends up working.
It doesn't matter what the project is. It matters the energy that the project is infused with.
Exactly. It is what you create ends up taking on the energy by which you created it with.
I could create a widget.
Is this a thing?
Yeah.
I will tell you something. I mean,
seriously, have you seen that?
Because there's certain things that I could have created in the past, and it would have worked wonderful.
Yeah.
And then also, no matter what I try to do, it won't work. So it's not what I'm trying to create, because it makes logical sense. It's the energy that I'm creating it. Yeah. It's whatever. You're infusing an energy into it. Is that right? Is that how it works?
It's just a question. Like I've seen this both ways.
Right.
Like you probably seen this both ways.
But I will throw something into your mind, not to confuse you. Try to imagine who created the dark force. If you start thinking about it, you will realize in the end it's God. So God is sending you some wrong things in your life. Those wrong things in your life shape you, because when you overcome whatever it's wrong in your life, it makes you a very powerful person. So you are talking about result. In spirituality, result is not the goal. The experience is the goal.
Yeah.
So once you get the good result, you call it, I achieved my goal. Once you get negative result, you feel like you fell to your goal. What about the experience in between the two?
Yeah.
That's actually what God wants you to go through, but it's not for everybody. It's for people who believe. You know,
By the way, this is gold. This piece that you're teaching right there is brilliant.
This I don't teach it to everybody. It's very deep, but this is considered the master level, the highest level, like how to get to that level.
Say it again.
Okay.
I'll make sure I got this.
So maybe Ryan can repeat it with your words will be better.
Well, no. All right, so,
my
so
words.
When you don't get the result, right? That's so when you get the result, you think, oh, that's good. But you said spirituality is about the experience. When you get the result, that tells you one thing. When you don't get the result, that tells you another thing. And that sometimes you're not supposed to get the result, so that way you can go through a transformation by the fact that you didn't get it. So therefore, it's all good whether you got the result or not.
It's all good. Think about life as you're born in age one day, and a person passed away when he's under, in 50. In between that 150 years, what you got? I mean, if a person starts to realize, I'm here for a short time. So what is the purpose of this life? To get the result? To get money? To get the fame? To get influencer? And there's something going on here. So for that reason, in Judaism, we call this world the world of action. And then they say after you die, you go into the next world. What is the next world? What is next? Well, it's like a video game that we mentioned before. We are in level 1. We're stuck. We're not doing well. If we're in that level, we're struggling. So the goal of this level is to practice. You only practice how to play the game. The game really begins in level 2. Level 2 only takes place after a person dies. This level is only a level of practice. So when you realize it from a spiritual point of view, you look at life a little bit different. Somebody took your parking spot, somebody stole your money. Okay, what does God want from me here? Okay, I got it, okay. I'm a man pleaser, and that's why I have to pay the price. Got it. Good, good, good. But then you take the man pleaser that's been shaped for 29 years, and I shape it into God pleaser. I do the same thing I did before. Now I just work it with a different direction. Nothing is wrong. Just nothing. Everything is so perfect. So God will send you a curveball sometimes. That curveball is you need to learn something about yourself from that situation.
It's just something I've been thinking about this, so thank you guys for humoring me on the question, but it's what both of you guys do, why it's so important for people, right? Is you teach people how to get, connected, aligned, whatever language you use when you're teaching. And like when you're in that space, what you create flows so much more effortlessly. And when you're not in that space, you can work equally as hard or 10 times as hard and actually create less. And I've been in both those places. We've been in a season where it's like we had whatever in our past lives and things came together and intention. We created an energy season that lasted a long time where it's like everything worked, like in every direction. We also went through the downside of all of that, right? Where nothing worked, right? And it's like, well, we didn't really change.
But you learn so much. I mean, it's amazing to talk to you now and talk to you 7 years ago. You're a different person. The legacy.
I'll start with the one that became very clear to me was that I was supposed to bridge people to God, just a bridge, that people could walk over the bridge to God, that I'm not some special way to God, that I just act as a bridge, and that's my legacy.
Similar, almost the same. I would like to see that people no longer judge God as a punisher, just look at God that is the rewarder, meaning in everything you're going through, in every little thing, good, bad, and all of the above, it was God's gift to you. You just have to clear your eyes or do something so your perspective change, so you can see the goodness within whatever you're going through right now.
I'm going to reflect on the conversation we just had, and I'll say, at least a legacy, I would love for people to feel that I used my gifts to the extent they were meant to be used, for the way they were meant to be used. And if I live my life doing that, hopefully that inspires other people to see and use their gifts to the potential that they're meant to be used for other people.
I love it.
That's brilliant. So I'm going to bridge people to God. You're going to help them see Him, and then you're going to help them use their gifts, right? It's a plan.
Look how fast he did it.
Right?
Ryan just launched a business.
So fast. Right? So fast.
Yeah.
Wow.